Hopefulness 2.0, July 28th. This is my bread dough that is essentially a wannabe sourdough because I'm too lazy to actually deal with the sourdough starter and all that crap. Maybe some other time in the future, I don't know. A little bit of a cocktail, it's almost done. Rum, Malibu rum, Coke, lime, juice. This probably needs to be a little bit of a wipe out. It's funny, I spent like maybe 20-30 minutes, I don't even know how long, which is a good thing that I didn't know how long. Clean it up in here. I mean, you know, it's just I've wiped down all of the countertops. Notice, there's not much here. Where's all the rest of the stuff? Well, the stuff in the dishwasher was just fine, but I moved a lot of stuff over here. Moved a lot of stuff out of it too, and then I've got, you know, towels and shit here, and then I've got a couple of glass containers, including one of the mixing bowls with scrapers, bowl scrapers and bench scrapers and all that stuff. And then, of course, this section over here, the appliances and whatnot. So I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling accomplished, which is a rarity for me. I don't usually feel accomplished. And, you know, I've had the dough pretty much autolyzing this whole time. So one thing I'm gonna do, let's see, I've got to effectively shape it while it's proofing and everything. So what I probably need to do, I get my bowl scraper out, which is the red plastic one, out of the mold. Yep. Boom. Now, this bowl doesn't have the kind of shape that you would expect. It's more for like the bigger mixing bowls and the like. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because this thing's pretty well lubricated as well. And I kind of need to, you know, punch it down and get the yeast to do its thing and whatnot. Because, you know, you're going to reintroduce, because the yeast is still in there. It's still alive. It's just gone a little bit more dormant now because of the the refrigeration. So now I'm basically starting off with the shaping of the dough. Nice elastic ball here. And we'll let that sit in here for a bit to figure out what to do with the trash can, because I like where it's at, but it's not in the right spot. Maybe I'll just switch these two. I don't know, we'll see. If I switch the container, the contents of each, it'll probably make it a little easier. So I've got to let that at least sort of come to room temp for the most part. So it's probably going to be about an hour. I can check, in fact. Let's see. There we go. Bowl scraper can go. I don't know. I'll leave you on top for the time being, just in case I need it again. Because then so that's basic shaping. You know, punching it down, getting the basic shaping down, getting it ready to do its like pre-cook rise. And then later, when I start preheating the oven, I'm gonna preheat it to like 475 instead of 500. Just to kind of see, because this oven gets really fucking hot. And like, I wish I had an oven thermometer. Like, there's nothing, just to kind of like see what is what and where and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, it gets really hot. And so what I'd like to do is I'll drop it down to 475 and cook it for, about 15, 20 minutes or whatever. We'll see. With the lid on and then with the lid off after that for a period of time. Because like the recipes that I have for cooking like sourdough and the like, they want the total cook time to be quite a bit longer. And if I do that, it gets burnt. Like one of my last attempts at bread, I mean, it was black. And in doing so, like I ended up having to, I was in here like scraping the shit off of it. Like I took this knife, this butter knife that I've had for a few years now that I got from when I was living in the sober living. And it's got that little serrated edge on there, and I was like scraping the fucking shit off of it, and like everything started turning brown and everything. It was nuts. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's a good idea to, because like the whole bread making experience is an experience, and it is an experiment as well. I'll just have some water, even though it's a little warmer than I'd like, but it's whatever. But yeah, like this dishwasher has done phenomenal things for my space. And I have this sticker that I put on here for myself. Run the sink hot water first. And just like in that video, Technology Connections, he's talking about how, and I think I may have mentioned it in another video, but it's like since it's running off of the tap, it's a good idea to run the hot water first, especially before the pre-wash. So I've been doing that. And it's funny too, because like I bought this mask. I literally picked it up to bring it in here for this video too. I bought the sleep mask because it gets bright enough in here that when I'm sleeping on my days off, or even especially during in between shifts, like it gets hard to sleep with the light. And it's like, yeah, sometimes I do get enough sleep, sometimes I don't. And it's like 10:30 in the morning right now. I should be going to sleep. But when my days off happen, it's really hard to stay awake at night because it's like, what can I do for several hours? And yeah, I can play video games and stuff, but like, I haven't really been playing a lot recently. I've been kind of like, sort of refocusing, thinking about other stuff. And like if I wanted to clean up or something, or vacuum or whatever, I don't want to be doing that in the middle of the damn night. I got a neighbor, It's not exactly courteous to do that. Take some ibuprofen. You could be like, well, you could be stretching or doing, exercise or whatever. And like, sure, I could, but I'm still not in the headspace for that. I'm getting closer. But at the moment, it's not, I'm not there yet. I was lazy and I put the, when I cooked the chicken, I just cooked it with the bones in. And I realized I'm not going to be doing that anymore as long as I can, there may be a time where I'm lazy again and I'd be like, hey, buddy, why do whatever. But it's just not the same. It really isn't. The flavor penetration with the pepper and the oil and the salt just doesn't get through, and so it doesn't taste as good. Like literally with the bone in, it doesn't taste as good. Cooking it exactly the same way. Lesson learned. And I was tired of having my my neutral oil. It's a soybean oil, in fact, sitting out here. So I just put it in a squeeze bottle, cleaned it up a bit. It had lemon juice at one point, and I could still kind of smell. So I just put some soap in it and just cleaned the living shit out of it. Then it didn't smell like anything. So I let it dry, threw in the oil. So now I have my 2 squeeze bottles of oil, You know, I need to get like a quarter sheet tray just so I can like stick everything on it, so it's all just like easily maneuverable. Because I mean, like I use all of that stuff in so much stuff. You know, like Parmesan cheese. I don't use it as a cheese. I use it as a seasoning now. Like I hadn't even thought of it until I watched Adam Ragusa's video. You know, when he did it in his pizza, I was like, huh, that's interesting. I wonder if I should try something like that, you know? So, wipe down everything. You know, got the water and bleach solution. And I want to get like another squirt bottle to put just water in. Because it can be useful for a lot of stuff. You know, it could be useful for, you know, quick cleaning down something. You know, it's like you've got a bunch of flour on the countertop. You don't really necessarily need to worry about bleaching it or anything. You just spritz it down and then wipe it off. You know, it can be used to hydrate stuff if you need to, whatever. And so it would be a good idea to get me to get another spray bottle at some point for water. But yeah, it's you know, with that mask, to go back to why I was even talking about it, I was like, when the other day, I think it was yesterday, middle of the day, I was running the dishwasher and I just said, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna lay down, take a nap. And it was the middle of the day, so it was bright. And I was like, I put the mask on and like I felt like a housewife. It was like in the middle of the day doing the thing, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna sleep and get ready for I don't know. It was like, I can't even describe what the sense. It was like, it felt almost like I was in a drama. I was a lady who was like, oh, I'm so tired. I mean, these are all stereotypes. I'm not trying to like fucking be an asshole or misogynist or anything. It's just like drama story stereotypes. And was like, I wanted to. It's like I'm here and I'm doing my thing and blah, and I like lay down and and it's just like, that's the idea, okay? Like beyond that, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but like that's the overarching sort of sensation of it all. And it was funny, and that's why I brought it up. And it's like, it's just been, this fucking dishwasher has been so fucking convenient. And I mean, like, I put dishes in it before I went to bed last night, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta take dishes out of the dishwasher. Oh well, you know, there's gonna be a day where I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do that. But it is not this day. Yet. So yeah, and my work week starts tonight. So at some point I gotta sleep again. I gotta take a nap. I'm just gonna shower and everything. I tried out the cold brew. Let me show you. I don't know if I put it in the video yesterday or not. Bam! That's a lot of cold brew. Vitamin D milk. California whole. There's a lot of fucking cold brew in here. And it's still pretty strong. Especially flavor wise. Oh, excuse me. So when the time comes, you know, I still have to filter it because I didn't filter it when, you know, after. So I still have some filters at the moment. And I've been considering taking, I think I may have mentioned it yesterday, I'm not sure. But I'm considering taking this to work and then just filling it up with coffee and then bringing it home. Now, I don't know how well this seals, is the only issue. Last thing I want to do is put, you know, a bunch of coffee in this, put it in my backpack, and then, you know, come home and it'd be fucking leaking and shit, so. I don't have any other good seal options. Like my, I had the coffee in this for a little bit, and I've used it for quite a while, but it's got a crack in it now. So like when I put it on here and I twist, you can see the crack there probably, maybe, I don't know. It's right there. So I'd have to buy another one, another lid, if I want to get if I want to even be able to use it for storage. Now, I could just get like a thermos and then do that. You know, just dump a bunch of coffee into a thermos and let it sit out all day. Or, you know, sit in the fridge or whatever, and then take it home every time, and then, you know, stock up that way. I don't know. Because I don't drink that much. I drink about a cup's worth before I go to work. It's funny, in fact, when I drank some yesterday, I had too much, and I was I got it in my head to play some more Dungeons of Dreadmore on my computer, and I was like, are there any cheats for this? Because I'd really like to play and cheat at it. And there are. You can get a debug menu, and, you know, you can like one button level up 15 times or something, so you can like press, you know, the level up button twice, and then have all of your talent trees and everything set up for you. And yeah, so I did that for a bit. I played for quite a bit last night. I want to say about 6 hours. It's because I haven't played the game in forever. And then this morning I was playing a little bit, and then I ended up killing myself. It's like, oops. And the worst part is I had ways of preventing my death. I just wasn't thinking about it. But it's whatever. That's kind of the fun thing about roguelikes anyways. It's like, because it's a roguelike, and Rogue is an old game with permadeath, and it's like stupid hard, and I think it's like a text-based game or something like that. It's an old-ass fucking game, but that's the thing with rogue and roguelike games, is that they're supposed to be pretty hard. And, you know, it's like, I was watching Jesse Cox play Elden Ring, and like, that game's fucking gorgeous. Like, I hadn't realized like how good it looked, and, you know, it's got like an interesting story based on what I've been able to see so far. Now his Let's Play is through a Twitch live stream, so it's very different from his typical. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching his version, even though I generally like him playing. But I may just go through somebody else and watch just a playthrough of it where there's no commentary or anything. I don't know, because it looks like a great game. But stuff like that just gets me frustrated too much. So, yeah. Oh, that fart was good. I gotta also make some, so I'm gonna make some bread today. I'm gonna let this sit here, ferment at room temp. And then once it's done, I'm gonna turn on the oven to preheat with the Dutch oven inside. And then once that's done preheating, then I'll cook the bread and make some bread today. And then later, if I'm up for it, and I'm gonna need to be up for it for the most part, we'll see. I'm gonna make some stock, because I need to make some more stock. So, and then next week when I get off, that'll be when I make my my cookies again, so that I can share them. Now I don't have the big chunks of chocolate like I did last time. I just have the chips. But that's kind of okay, really, because it'll make it easier to make smaller cookies. And that's a lot more chocolate chips than I thought I was going to get for dark, but it's whatever. It works out, and so I probably won't have to buy any more for a while. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And I'm gonna need to get like probably maybe sometime either. I'll have to see. Obviously, after I get paid this week, because I think I'm gonna get paid tomorrow, because it's gonna be the last business day of the month, I believe. This Thursday, 29th, 30th, 34th. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll probably be getting paid, and then I can make an assessment as to how much money I have available for things, and I am going to consider getting more vanilla extract, a container for it, and then some vanilla beans and some vodka, so that I can make my own vanilla extract. Now, the reason why you gotta get the original vanilla extract is because you need to basically start it, because otherwise it can take months for the extract to really do the job. And then obviously you've got to be able to use your vanilla beans in a reasonable time and all that stuff too. And so that's something that I'm really considering. Like, for instance, whenever I make pastry cream, I might just throw in a vanilla beans worth. I don't know. Instead of putting in actual extract or something, maybe I'll just throw in vanilla bean, just for the fun of it, Yeah. But I'm liking my options. I'm liking what I need to be able to make some pâte à choux again at some point, and especially now that I have the silpat, and it'll make that easier, and stuff will come off, and I've got the offset spatula to do some of that work when it comes to getting stuff off. Because it's decent for scraping some stuff off, but it's better for just kind of like finessing things, whether it's icing a cake or taking stuff off of a sheet tray or what have you. But yeah. And then of course I've got to deal with stuff in the living room at some point. Some things is it's just like it's useful stuff that I just haven't been using for whatever reason. Like I've got a shoehorn, which is helpful because then it helps keep your shoes from getting all fucked up in the back. And so that $5-10 item, whatever it is, can help lengthen the life of your shoes. And then there's all sorts of other shit. And then there's stuff I'm probably gonna throw away or shred or whatever. I might have to bring some stuff to work just to shred it. We'll see. But since I follow a decent number of food tubers, there's always a possibility that I might get some ideas about something. Make some other food and stuff. I kind of felt guilty that I wasn't doing more, and that I haven't been doing more during my days, especially my days off. I started thinking about just the nature of that, the nature of what I'm doing. And I need to not feel guilty about not doing things. And, whether it's sleeping for half the day, with 2 different sessions or something like that. Because I'm finally back into a position that I haven't been in for almost 11 years, which is in a place where I can effectively call my own, where I can experiment with food, fuck around if I need to with it, do basic shit, who cares? But recuperate. Because one, an overnight shift is not a normal shift. It's just not. And even though that job that I'm doing right now, it's pretty easy overall. Like, most of what I get done within an hour, hour and a half. If you count every single thing that I do that's related to my job, unless I take a lot of time doing something, or if, I've got to count like a shit ton of meds or something, other than that, 2 hours tops. And that's all of it. That's including the stuff in the beginning of the beginning of the shift, and any time that I've got to do anything else, and any stuff towards the end of the shift. Like, I got to check to make sure, if anybody wants to get woken up at 5:30 or 5 o'clock or whatever, wake them up, and that takes less than a minute. And then there's going outside and just kind of waiting with people while they're kind of gathering for the sunrise meeting, and just kind of bullshitting with them and taking head count for that, so I can put that information into the email that I send every night. So, like, and when I say 2 hours, that is a conservatively large number. So I'm getting paid 8 hours for 2 hours worth of work. Now, of course, there's aspects of the night shift that, that's why the night shift is there. It's just in case. It's the liability, if you will. It's to ensure that things are going okay. But because of that, it fucks with my sleep schedule. It fucks with my ability to know what day it was. Just like in the last couple of videos, I screwed up the day. Because I just fucked that up because it's hard for me to remember. So I'm recuperating not only from that, but in a lot of ways I'm recuperating from the last decade. Now that I'm going to start working full time, I can consider, maybe changing up with the landlady and getting a lease set up or something, contract for 6 months or something, instead of a month to month. Because then I wouldn't even have to worry about looking for other places or anything, because then I'd be set for this place. And now that I have the dishwasher and I'm kind of just set in here, and I'm still, it's like, it goes back to what I was talking about many months ago, back in November, when I was on the other side of this place. It's like, despite having been homeless in the past, and not technically being homeless this whole time, there hasn't really been a sense of stability. The sense of stability is really important. It is hard to do anything that's even remotely productive if every single day you're not sure there's going to be a roof over your head at a certain point. Now, of course, there's no guarantees in life, but I'm talking about mitigating that to a point where maybe you have about a 95% certainty every day, where it's so certain that you're not thinking about the fact that it could go away. And that feeling needs to last a long time before you can even really get an idea of what to do next. Beyond just trying to survive, beyond just trying to make sure that there's a roof over your head. Because, I mean, I've been working at this job since the beginning of May. It is almost the end of July, or it is the end of July. So I've been working there for almost 3 whole months. And not once have I felt like the job would stabilize my life. And even if I'm working full time, it's still not going to completely stabilize. But it will be a lot better. If I'm working 40 hours a week, every fucking week, those extra dollars will add up a lot faster. And then there will be emergency funding and just shit for whatever. I have a feeling that once this next paycheck comes in, especially because I have been working generally 4+ hours a week, or 4 or 5 days a week in the last couple of weeks. And I believe, I think I got July 4th pay on the last one. I should have. Once I see it in once I see it in the bank, then I know how much money I'll have. And then I'll have an idea of what my schedule looks like for the next couple of weeks. I mean, it's still not going to be 100%, but it'll be easier. It'll be easier to take a breath, to relax, to kind of, I don't even know what word I'm looking for, because I don't know how long ago it's been that way. I mean, I know how long ago, I just don't know what it's like because it's been so damn long. You know, to be more in the moment, to be able to enjoy the moment. You know, that's something that, like, it's difficult to do, especially when you're acting, to be in the moment. Especially if you're like me, you have a lot of anxiety, and you're a catastrophist, and you're neurotic, and you're always afraid something's going to happen in your life, because usually there's been little to no stability. When your life is so fucking stable, it's really easy to be in the moment. When you're not thinking about other stuff. And I mean it in a way that where there isn't a potential catastrophe the stuff that you're thinking about. But, like, you know, it's like if you're in the middle of a scene, for instance, and you're thinking about the laundry, it's like, it's no big deal if you just have to come back from that. Because the likelihood is laundry isn't a catastrophe, whether it gets done or not. You know, if you remember that you forgot to feed your cat, that's a little bit different. It's slightly more catastrophic. The cat will survive. It will not die from starvation if you just happen to miss a feeding. But you're probably going to feel bad about it. If you're worried about your car every day, that's different. It's going to take you out of it. Like, a perfect example, in fact. Oh man, wow. It literally is a perfect example. So when I was living in Dallas, when I was still using the old Toyota Celica that I had gotten, that was a hand-me-down throughout my family. My cousin got it, and then he like wrecked it like a couple months after that, and then like I think his mother took it for a while, and then my mother ended up having it, and then I got it from her. I mean, the car was not in great shape, and she charged me $2,000 for it, or $1,500. I can't even remember. It was too much fucking money as it is. I had gone. I was in this. I was in a stable enough position in life because like my car insurance was only like $90 a month. My rent was like $625, and even though I was making like $10 an hour, you know, I was working 40 hours a week, and it was an easy security job, and that was stabilized too. It was like specific days every week, specific hours every week. You know, nobody was going to be calling in or anything or any of that kind of crap. It was a pretty chill job. I still wasn't good at it because it's just not for me, but I was able to save money. I was buying, you know, all sorts of crap. I was blowing money on all kinds of shit. I mean, I had a library of DVDs and all sorts of shit, and I was in a pretty good spot. Then my car started acting up, and sometimes it would overheat at like just shitty times, and it wouldn't start for whatever reason. Ended up blowing a head gasket is what the issue was, and that's really why I ended up getting rid of the car in the first place and getting shafted on the used car that I ended up buying or attempting to buy. But one day I was like, I don't remember exactly where it was specifically, but it was somewhere in Dallas, as I lived in Mesquite. And I drove to concert hall because there was an orchestra that was playing various Final Fantasy content, and like people had like dressed up and stuff. I just dressed up nice. Some people like were cosplaying and shit. When I got there, the car died like the moment that I stopped driving it, and then I couldn't start it back up. And it was a significant enough problem that it fucked with my whole ability to enjoy that thing. The only time I really actually got to enjoy the concert was during the intermission when I went and just basically got drunk. You know, I still had to drive, so I couldn't get super drunk, but you know, I think I had like 3 drinks, because I mean there was still like at least an hour and a half. Because like when I turned it off, it started smoking, and it turned off pretty much on its own too. So like I stopped driving, I put it in park, motherfucker turns off on its own without me doing anything, and then the fucking hood starts smoking. And that was getting there to the concert. It ruined my whole experience. Because I was thinking about it the whole fucking time. I couldn't be in the moment and enjoy things. Because now my ability to get home and everything else that was associated was just fucked. And then it, you know, like if it started working, I think I threw in some like antifreeze or something like that just so that it'd make it cool, sort of, you know, some coolant and whatnot, before the show started. And like it took a moment for the car to actually start, and then I got on the road, I was able to go. And then of course, at one point there was a detour that took us off the highway onto a main road, and sort of a main arterial road that connects the 2 main cities. And then of course in that detour there was like a car wreck or something, and it caused a massive backup, and there was like 100+ cars, and then at one point my car just fucking dies. I couldn't restart it, so I'm in the middle, I'm trying to get over. I can tell the car's, you know, like dying, and so like before it finally dies, I get over to the right-hand side. I got my hazards on and everything, and I can't get it fucking started. And then I was there for like probably close to 2 hours. And, you know, I look back on it and there was like 7 cop cars surrounding my car at one point. Now that was some white privilege right there. Straight up. I didn't realize it at the time. And then they like slowly trickled away because they had to do whatever they were going to do. But I didn't realize it at the time. Because apparently I was in a bad neighborhood. But I couldn't enjoy, like, that was a day that I was supposed to enjoy and I couldn't. Because my only means of transportation was fucked. And while I did have disposable income, I didn't have a shit ton. You know, every paycheck I would buy, you know, DVD here or something like that. You know, and I was always buying stuff because, you know, I was trying to fill the hole. That could never be filled. Bottomless pit. And I have been trying to get back to at least that level of baseline for a quarter of my life. And I don't know where this is going to take me. I don't know what I'll be able to do. But if this lasts, if this gets better, then obviously, you know, I'll be able to clear my head a bit more. And I probably won't feel as bad sleeping and resting because at least I won't feel the need to do something. I don't know. You know, I'll be able... maybe that was the point. It's not so much that I felt guilty that I wasn't doing anything. I guess it's just I wasn't in the moment. I wasn't able to enjoy the moment. Maybe I will be. I don't know. We'll see. Have fun.